In this video, what we're going to be doing is taking a Bootstrap template. Actually, we're going to be taking one of the example templates from the Get Bootstrap website, and we're going to convert it into a Joomla template. And there's a few things we're going to do. We're going to use a couple modules from this Bootstrap-Joomla.com. This is my site, and it's just basically takes some of the Bootstrap components and puts them into a Joomla module, so you can easily customize it and so forth. So we have a couple modules. The first one is the navbar module. You can basically install this and you can choose things like the coloring. You can make it dark or light. You can make it fixed to the top or the bottom. You can float it. There's a couple different customization options, and it also offers drop-down functionality. Then we have the Jumbotron module, which is basically just like a showcase area. You can add your headings, you can change the colors of the text, you can add a background and a foreground image, things like that. And then we have the carousel module, which is a JavaScript Bootstrap carousel or slider. Right now you can have up to 3 slides, but I will be making it so you can add more than that. And then we have the block module, which is basically just like a Bootstrap block. We can actually have the glyphicons, the icons that come with Bootstrap, things like that. We can change the text, coloring. Okay, so those are the 4 modules that I have so far. So the template we're going to be using, if you go to getbootstrap.com and go to Getting Started, and over here on the right, you want to click on Examples, and the one we're going to be building is the Jumbotron template. So if we click on that, very basic. The reason I chose one of these example templates is because of how simple it is. My goal isn't to teach you how to design a great Bootstrap template. It's to show you how you can integrate a Bootstrap template and these modules. So basically we'll have the navbar module, the Jumbotron module will be the main showcase, and then we have these Bootstrap block modules. We're not going to use the carousel because we're using the Jumbotron, which is basically a static showcase area. Alright, so let's go ahead and create a folder, and I'm going to call this just TPL_Jumbotron. And now we need our basic Bootstrap files, so let's get that. If we go back to the home page and click Download Bootstrap, and we want to click this one. And you should get a folder like this, the distribution folder, and we're basically going to empty, we're going to take all of these and put them into our folder. Alright, so that is we get the CSS. We don't need all this, okay? We just want the bootstrap.css. So I'm going to delete all these. And fonts we're going to keep because these give us our glyphicons that we can use in the block module. JavaScript, I'm going to get rid of this minified one. Alright, so now we need an index file. So create an index.html. So what I'm going to do right now is just get the static site finished, and then we can just convert it to a Joomla template. Alright, so that's all we need for our static site or template. So I'm going to open this up. And what we want to do is go back to that example, and we're going to do Control U to see the source, and I'm just going to copy that. Paste that in the HTML file. And let me see. We need this Jumbotron CSS file as well, so let's go and view the source again and click on this Jumbotron CSS link, which is basically just some padding, but and I'm not going to actually call it Jumbotron CSS. I'm going to create a custom CSS file, and this is where all our custom CSS will go, because we're not going to touch this Bootstrap CSS file. Just paste that in there, save that. Alright, so our index HTML, we need to do a few things. You can see here, I'm going to get rid of this description, author, and shortcut. We'll do that within Joomla. Title, we will get rid of the title when we convert it, but we'll just keep it for now. And this here, this link to the Bootstrap minified, we want to change this. We want this just to go to css/bootstrap.css. And our custom, this will be our custom, which is in CSS. And instead of Jumbotron, we're just going to say custom CSS. Okay, we can get rid of this stuff. For the JavaScript, they put it at the bottom, but I actually like to put them up top. Okay, so I'm going to grab the Bootstrap CSS file, link, and I'm going to get rid of this jQuery CDN because we're going to download it locally. Okay, so up here we'll put in our JavaScript. Again, we need to get rid of this path, and this should just be Bootstrap.js. Okay, and we'll put a comment in there as well. Now we want to include jQuery as well, so I'm going to go ahead and go to jQuery.com and click the download jQuery button, and I'm going to get the just get the compressed 1.11. Obviously this may be different depending on when you're watching it, but we're going to select all this, copy it, and go back to our JavaScript folder, create a new file called jQuery.js. Alright, so we'll open that, paste that in, save and close. Okay, now we just need to include it here. We're going to include it above the Bootstrap.js file. Alright, so that takes care of the head, well, at least for the static site. And we should be good. Let's go ahead and save this and take a look. Okay, we're going to open our index file, and there's our static template. Alright, so that looks good. Now what we need to do is convert this to a Joomla template. Okay, so let's see, what we're going to do is rename this index.html. We're going to name it index.php. And we're going to keep the CSS and fonts and JavaScript folder. We need to create a couple more folders. Okay, we're going to create a folder called HTML, and this is going to be an override folder. So let's say we install a certain module. Let's say we install the Jumbotron module, and we want to change something. Maybe we want to add another paragraph or some line breaks or something to the output. So in our HTML folder, we could create another folder called whatever the module name is, and then put a file in there, a view file, and that's what will be used to output that module on our site. Alright, so that's what the HTML folder is for. Alright, so we're also going to create an images folder, and I think that's it. We're not going to use language strings to make this a multi-language template. I think that goes a little beyond the scope, so we're not going to do that. Maybe I'll make another video doing that. but I just want to just keep everything basic for now. So we get our index file. The most important file to have is the manifest, okay, for our template, which is going to be called template details.xml. And this is where we'll put all of our meta info. This is where we define our module positions and things like that. So let's open that up. Now I'm just going to paste some stuff in here. I'm going to paste all the metadata. Alright, so I'll start from the top. First we just have our XML declaration. We use an XML 1.0. We have our doc type. And then we're going to open up a tag, an extension tag, and that's going to take a few attributes. Okay, the first is the version. Now, this template I want to work on Joomla 2.5 as well as Joomla 3. So you want to put the earliest version, which is going to be 2.5. The type is a template. Method, we're going to say upgrade, because we want to be able to, when this template updates, when we update it, I want to just be able to install it over the current template. So that's why we're using upgrade here instead of install. The client is going to be the site. It's not going to be an administrator template. It's front-end template. And then we just have the name, creation date, author email, URL, copyright, license, version. I'm just going to put 1.0.0 and a description. All right, so that's the basic metadata that we need. So down here, what we want to do is we need to define all of our core files. All right, files and folders. And what I mean by core is everything that's directly in the template folder. We don't have to name these files in these subfolders, just what's here. Okay, and I think we have everything. Yeah, that's actually, I'm going to bring over this favicon. I'm just going to use the Bootstrap icon as our favicon. Alright, so what we want to do is open up a files tag and close it. And then in between here, let's do our folders first. So we need a folders tag. Okay, I'll just copy this, and what do we have? 5. Alright, so we have our CSS folder, we have fonts, HTML, images, and JavaScript. Okay, so now we'll do our files, file name, okay, we need 3 of those. Actually, you know what? One thing I did forget is in every directory in Joomla, you should have an index.html file. And it can be blank, it can have anything, but the reason we do this is so that people can't browse your directories from in a browser. Okay, so it stops them from doing that. So let's create index.html. And a common practice with this is just to have the doc, put a doc type and then just some title tags. Okay, so save that, and then we want to copy this and paste it into all of these directories. Whoop. And you'll find if you browse any Joomla core modules or folders, you'll see this index file in all of them. Alright, so we do need to include that in our manifest. Whoop. Okay, so we got index.php, index.html, favicon.ico, and we need our details. Alright, so that looks good. So the next thing we need to do is define our module positions. And we're not going to have that many, I don't think. Alright, so to figure this out, let's look at our template. Okay, so we know we'll need a menu module for our nav bar. And by the way, I don't think I'm going to keep this form here in the Joomla template, so we'll just have the title and links. We'll need a Jumbotron module position, which I usually call showcase, and we get some blocks. Okay, so I'll call these box 1, box 2, and box 3, and that's it really. This footer, we're gonna use a template parameter where we can enter our copyright text from the back end. So that's not going to be a module. Alright, so we have menu, we have showcase, and our box modules. And you can call these anything you want. A lot of templates will call these user 1, user 2, but I never really like doing that. I think box or block makes more sense. Alright, so that's our positions. Alright, so next we want our parameters, and we're not going to have too many. Pretty much just the copyright, I think. Alright, I apologize for my voice. I'm kind of losing my voice, so if I'm a little hard to understand, I apologize. Alright, so we're going to have some config tags, and then inside that we want fields. And actually this needs to have a name attribute, and it's going to be named params. Okay, and then inside here we'll create a field set, and that's going to have a name. Call it general, and this is also going to have a label, and we'll just say general. And finally we want a field tag, so field and then the name. Actually, you know what, we're going to have a couple parameters because I want the user to be able to change this, okay, the brand name, and we'll create a parameter for that. Okay, so we'll do that first. We'll say logo text. Okay, so let's see, that's the name. Then we have to do a type, and the type is going to be text. And then we need a label. We'll say logo text. You could also make an image parameter or a media parameter where they could upload their image, but I'm not gonna do that because this is gonna take long enough as it is. Description. And I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. So we can close this with a / and then a greater than. So that's one field. Let's copy this. And we'll change this name to copyright. We'll call it copyright text. And change the label. Alright, so that's our two parameters. And I think that's all we need. Yeah, the last thing we need to do is just close out our extension tag. So you can see that all of this information goes inside of the extension tag. Alright, and that's it. That completes our details manifest. Now the last thing really to do here is to convert the index.php file, because right now we have all static content. Alright, what we want to do is add our module positions and our component dynamic code and stuff like that. But before we do that, I want to install this onto our site and then work on it from there so that we can see our changes. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to package this, okay, and the way that we package it is just to put it all in a zip file. And the template details is very important. You want to make sure that all the folders and files are listed in there, or it won't install correctly. Alright, so let's go ahead and just, I'm going to use WinRAR to zip this. And we're going to do zip. Alright, so now we should be able to install this. Now what I have here is just a brand new Joomla 3.2 installation. I haven't created any content, or I haven't done anything, so it's brand new. Alright, so let's and this is actually going to be my demo site for Bootstrap Joomla. Alright, so we're going to install this right on this live site. So let me log in here. Alright, so here's our back end. The first thing I do, alright, so here's the front end. The first thing I do when I install Joomla is get rid of this title. I don't want this home here. Alright, so we can do that by just going to the menu item, the home page menu item. And under page display, we just want to set this to no. And I'm just going to give the page a title. We'll say Bootstrap Joomla Demo. Alright, so we get rid of that home and we have a title. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to enable our template. Well, we have to install it, and then we'll enable it, and we'll change all the static text to dynamic content. So let's go to Template Manager, and Extension Manager, and we want to choose the zip file we created. Where is it? Okay. Alright, so we have an issue here. Demo templates CSS. Let's go back to our XML file. CSS. Demo. Oh, we made a mistake. This should be folder, not folders. Alright, so sorry about that. We're going to save that, and I'm just going to open up the zip file and just throw that in there. Alright, so now we'll go and try that again. Alright, so now it's installed. So let's go to Extensions, Template Manager, and you can see our Jumbotron template right here. Let's enable that. Or, I'm sorry, set it as default. Alright, now if we reload, alright, so this looks a little messed up because it's not including our Joomla template CSS. Alright, so let's go ahead and go back to Notepad. Now what I'm going to do is I have my Notepad++ FTP client set up so that I can directly edit files on this domain. Alright, so I'm going to do that. Alright, so what I'm going to do is go to my templates directory and Bootstrap Joomla. Okay, and let's see. I called that Bootstrap Joomla. Let me just check this. I'm not sure why it's called Bootstrap Joomla, where that came from. Huh. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm in the wrong directory. I'm not in my demo site. All right, so I want to go to demo. All right. So now templates, Jumbotron. All right. So this is our template. These files here. So let's open up index.php. All right. So we need to do a couple things here. Well, actually, we need to do quite a bit here. We want to get rid of this title tag because Joomla will create the titles for us. But in order for Joomla to do that, we need to add a little snippet here, and we do that with a JDoc statement. Okay, so we want to say JDoc include and then type. The type is going to be head. All right. So let's see. Now, the reason that the CSS isn't working for us is that the way we have it in the CSS folder, it's looking for this folder inside of the root. All right, and it's not in the root, it's inside of our template directory. So we need to add a couple things here. All right, the first thing we want to do is echo out our base URL, and Joomla gives you a handy function to do that. So we'll say PHP echo this base URL. All right, close up that. So this basically is going to echo out this, okay, our base URL. Now from there we want to go into our templates directory. So slash templates slash, and then what we want to do is we want to include the name of the template. And in Joomla we can do that with saying this template. Alright, so that's going to give us the template name, and then we want to go to the CSS. So slash CSS and then the file. Alright, so let's just copy this. We'll go up to this slash and copy. And then here we'll do the same thing. Whoop. Not sure what happened there. Okay, copy. Alright, so that looks good. Same thing here with the JavaScript files. Alright, so let's save that. Now it should read our CSS in JavaScript. Alright, so simple as that. Right now, this looks good, but it's all static content. We don't want that. So what we're going to do here is we'll do the navbar first. So we're going to need to install our navbar module. Alright, first what I'm going to do is we need to get rid of this. Okay, so actually I'm going to cut it and I'm going to put it in another file just in case we need to look at it. So in place of that, we need to add our menu module position. Alright, so let's say menu and the way we do this is with JDoc statements. So we're going to say JDoc include type is going to be modules. Okay, name is going to be whatever the position name, which is going to be menu, and then style. And in style, we're going to put none. You could put XHTML, and what that will do is it allows your module to have a title, an H3 title by default. But we don't want our menu to have a title, so it's just going to be none. You can also create custom styles. It's actually called Chrome, module Chrome. But I'm not going to get into that in this video. Alright, so if I save that, and if we reload this, it's going to just disappear. Alright, because we don't have a module in that position. So we want our Bootstrap module there. So we need to install that first. So I'm going to go to Extension Manager, choose File, and all these modules I'm installing you can get at bootstrapjoomla.com. Alright, so let me just find where I have them. Alright, so I'm going to install the Bootstrap nav. I'm just going to install them all right now. The Bootstrap, the mod Jumbotron, and the Bootstrap block. Alright, so now let's go to Module Manager and the Bootstrap nav. I'm going to click on that. And we want this assigned to all pages. Alright, now here we want to choose the menu, which is going to be the main menu. Navigation type, you want to make sure is navbar. You can also have the list group, which is a vertical menu. Color is going to be dark. And fixed, let me see, is it fixed here? Well, we can't tell. I think it is, so we're just going to say fixed top. Float, we're just going to leave. Branding type, alright, so this is going to be text. You can also use a logo if you want. And we can choose our brand text here instead of the template parameters. So we'll do that. We'll call this, just call it Jumbotron template. Alright, so we want to publish this, select the position, which is going to be menu, and now we'll click save and close. And with some templates you may want to, like I said, create an override if you want to change the way it's displayed. Let's just see what we got here. Alright, so there's our nav bar. It's as easy as that. Now when we create menus in the back end, they'll show here. Alright, so let's actually do that. Let's create an article. And we'll just say about. And for text, let's just get some sample text from Lorem Ipsum. Generate some dummy text. Okay, I'm going to copy that and go ahead and paste this inside of the source code because I want paragraphs. Alright, so we'll save that. And of course we need to create a menu item for it. And we're going to select articles, single article. Choose the about article. Alright, so now if we go to our front end and reload, we have our about page. Now if we click on it, it's going to take us to the page, but this is still static content, so the page's text isn't going to show yet. Alright, so our menu is now all set. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is the Jumbotron. Alright, so that's from here to here. So again, I'm going to cut that out and just paste it in here. And basically we're going to use the JDoc again. And we'll call this showcase module. Okay, so we want to change the name to showcase. Style, we'll keep it none. Now the showcase is just going to be on the home page, so we need to create an if statement saying that we only want to show this if it's enabled, if the showcase module is enabled on that page. Alright, so we can say PHP if, and we want to say this count modules. Alright, so we'll say if this count modules, and then inside there as a parameter we want to put the position name. In our case is showcase. Alright, and this is PHP shorthand if, so we're not using a curly brace, we're using this colon, and then when we want it to close we'll say PHP end if. Okay. Alright, so basically, like I said, it's just saying if the showcase isn't enabled on that page, I'm sorry, if it is enabled, then show it. So let's save that, and if we reload, the Jumbotron should disappear. Okay, now we're going to go to Module Manager and click on the Jumbotron module. Okay, menu assignment, we're going to say only on pages selected, and then we'll unselect all the pages and just select home. Alright, it's going to be published. The position should be showcase. Okay, now the text, let's go to our little snippet here, and the text will say hello world for the heading, and I'm just going to copy the paragraph, paste that in here. Alright, so center text, I don't think we want it centered, no. You can change the color if you'd like. Show button, we're going to say yes. Button text is going to be learn more. And the button link I'm just going to leave as a dummy link for now. And then the button class, if you have used Bootstrap before, then you probably know that the buttons have certain classes for certain colors. For instance, the button primary is blue. Alright, we can also say we want it large. I'm going to take out this button color, we don't need that. Alright, so that's good. The background color is set to light gray, that's good. You can use a background image. I'm not going to, but you can. And you can also use a foreground image. Alright, and you can change the width of that. But this looks good for now. So let's hide the title, save that and see how it looks. Alright, so there it is. This is our module now. Alright, and if we go to About, it should not be there. Alright, so next we're going to use the Bootstrap block module, which will be each of these. Okay, so let's get out of here. Alright, so let's go code that in the template first. Alright, so we have our static blocks here. Now these are all going to be in the same module position. Actually no, they're not. Sorry, they're not. Alright, so let's right under the container div, I'm just going to copy the showcase snippet, and we'll say box 1, box 1. Alright, so we will need 3 of these, and I'm actually going to cut this static content, place it in here. Alright, so now we'll copy this box twice. This will be box 2. This will be 3. Alright. Save that, and now we need to create them. Let's make sure that the static content's gone. Alright. Actually, there's one thing we need to change. We're going to change this from none to XHTML because we want it to have a title. Actually, you know what? No, we don't, because the title can be included in the module parameters. So Bootstrap block. Alright, so we'll just leave the default heading and paragraph. Default colors. Now this glyphicon class, if you want to use an icon next to the title, you can go to Get Bootstrap. And if we go to CSS, components, you have all these choices of glyphicons or icons that you can use. So all you need to do is copy the class name and paste that in, and you'll have an icon, and by default there is one here. It's the TH. I'm not exactly sure which one that is. Let's see. TH. I don't know. I can't find it right now, but we actually don't want to use a glyphicon, so we're just gonna take that out. Show read more. Let's take a look. Yep, and we'll call it view details. And for the button, we want the button to be white. So for that, we need to change this class from primary to default. Okay, and that should do it. Yeah, so let's save this and see what we're looking at. Oh, we need to choose the pages. So we want this only on pages selected, and we're just going to choose the home page. Alright, so the reason it's so long here is because we don't have box 2 and box 3. So let's do that now. All we want to do here is we can actually just check Bootstrap block and then click duplicate. I don't know what error this is here, but it's not something that has to do with the module. So let's we want to duplicate it one more time. Alright, so let's click on this one. We'll just call this block 2, and then what we want to do is we want it published. We want to select position. We want to select box 2, and everything else is good. Get rid of the glyphicon class. Okay, save and close, and then finally we want the other duplicated module. We'll call this block 3. Published and box 3 position. Alright, so let's reload this. Huh. Oh, these are set to no pages. Alright. Oh, you know what? We made a mistake. We needed to keep some of the Bootstrap markup here for the columns, and we didn't. So what I'm going to do is just copy this, or I'm going to cut it, and then I'm going to go back with Control Z, go back to static. Alright, so what we want to do is we want to include these inside of these columns. Alright, so for here, for example, so we get rid of that, and then here we just want the box 1. Alright, and then in here we want box 2. Sorry about that. Hope it didn't confuse you. And here we want box 3. Alright, so we're doing this because we need these column classes in order for them to float side by side. Alright, so let's save that. Oh, okay, we have the blocks, but we included another Jumbotron in there, it looks like. Yeah, okay. This showcase. Get rid of that. Alright, so Everything here is dynamic except for the copyright. Now, what we want to do is we want to include our parameter here. So the way that we grab our parameters is PHP, and we're going to echo out this params get, and then the name of the parameter, in this case I believe is copyright. Alright, so I'll save that, and what we need to do is we want to go to our template manager and click on the Jumbotron template, and then general, and here's our two parameters. The logo text we actually took care of from within the Bootstrap nav module, so we don't need that. Copyright, I'm going to say copyright Bootstrap Joomla 2014. Alright, so save that, and then that should show down in the bottom here. Which it didn't. Oh yeah, I named it copyright text, so we just want to change this copyright text and then save it again. Alright, so there's our copyright. So this is all well and good, but the one thing we don't have that we need to add is the main component snippet, basically our articles, because if we click on about, we don't have anything here, so that's really easy to do. You want to figure out where you want to put your main content in your template. We're going to put it under the boxes. Alright, so like right here. So this again will be using JDoc include, and type is going to be component, and above that we want to put where we want our messages. For instance, if you get a failed login, you need an area for the sorry your credentials didn't match message or something like that. And what we want to do is just change this to message. Alright, so let's save that. Go back here and reload. And now we have our content, our about page. Alright, we don't have anything set for the home page. By default, the home page, if you feature an article inside of Article Manager, it'll show up here. But in our case, we don't want an article on our home page. It's just made up of strictly modules. So if you did want articles on your home page, let me just show you. We'll go to Article Manager, and if we set this about page to featured, and then we go to the home page, it now shows down here. Alright, so that's how you can show a component on your home page. So I think that's it. We integrated a template, we integrated the nav bar, the Jumbotron, and the Bootstrap blocks. So I hope that you could follow this, and hopefully this will help you if you're using Bootstrap with Joomla.